I sat there, gripping the edge of the table, heart pounding in my chest. Olivia's words echoed in my ears, each syllable slicing through me like a blade. "I'm going to sleep with other people, whether you like it or not." She said it so casually, like she was telling me she'd picked up a new hobby, like it wasn't a confession of betrayal. I searched her face for any sign of hesitation, some flicker of guilt, but there was nothing. Just cold certainty. "You're joking," I finally forced out, my voice hoarse. She took a slow sip of wine, eyes locked on mine. "No, Eric. I'm not." My stomach twisted. "So that's it? You just decided our marriage doesn't matter anymore?" She sighed, setting the glass down. "Why do you have to be so dramatic? I still love you, but I refuse to be caged. I need more." "More?" My laugh came out hollow. "More than your husband?" She didn't flinch. "Yes." The air in the room thickened, suffocating. I wanted to scream, to demand how long this had been going on, but a darker part of me already knew the answer. "You've already done it, haven't you?" My voice barely rose above a whisper. Her lips curled into something cruel, something victorious. "Would it matter?" A sharp pain stabbed through my chest. Every memory, every promise we had made, reduced to ash in an instant. I pushed back from the table, chair scraping against the floor. "Who?" She tilted her head, considering. "Does it matter?" "It does to me." For the first time, she hesitated. But then that smug smile returned. "Jason." The name hit me like a freight train. Jason. My best friend. The man I trusted like a brother. My vision blurred, fists clenching at my sides. Rage, heartbreak, disgust, it all crashed into me at once. She leaned back, studying my reaction. "Don't look so surprised, Eric. You had to see this coming." I couldn't breathe. Couldn't think. "You're a monster," I whispered. She simply shrugged. "No, I'm just honest." And that was the moment I knew, whatever love had once existed between us was dead. I stormed out of the apartment, fists clenched so tightly my nails dug into my palms. My chest burned with betrayal, my mind spiraling into a chaotic storm of anger and disbelief. Jason. Of all the people in the world, she had chosen him. My so-called best friend. The air outside did little to cool the rage boiling inside me. My car sat in the driveway, but I couldn't bring myself to get in. Where would I go? What was I supposed to do now? I paced, trying to steady my breathing. I needed to think. I needed to act. Jason. The name pulsed through my skull, hammering like a war drum. I pulled my phone from my pocket, fingers shaking as I scrolled through my contacts. His name stared back at me, an ugly reminder of my stupidity. I had trusted him, brought him into my home, shared my life with him, and he had taken everything. My thumb hovered over the call button, but I hesitated. What was I expecting? An apology? Some pathetic excuse? Nothing he said would fix this. I shoved the phone back into my pocket. No, I needed to see him. Face to face. My hands tightened around the steering wheel as I sped toward his place. My mind raced through every possible scenario, each one worse than the last. What if Olivia was there? What if she had gone straight to him after shattering me into pieces? The thought sent a fresh wave of fury coursing through me. By the time I pulled up to his apartment building, my breath was ragged, my pulse thundering in my ears. The sleek, modern complex stood in stark contrast to the filth he had become in my eyes. I marched toward his door, every step fueled by the betrayal searing my veins. My knuckles rapped hard against the wood. Silence. Then, shuffling footsteps. The door cracked open. Jason's face twisted in confusion. "Eric!" Before he could say another word, I shoved the door wide, forcing him back. He stumbled, nearly knocking over a stack of papers on the counter. "What the hell, man?" I slammed the door shut behind me. The room smelled like expensive whiskey and cologne, Jason's signature scent. "You already know why I'm here," I growled, fists trembling at my sides. His expression faltered, guilt flickering across his features before he masked it with feigned innocence. "Eric, listen. Don't lie to me." My voice was low, dangerous. Jason exhaled sharply, rubbing the back of his neck. Look, man, How long? I cut him off. He swallowed hard. A few months. My stomach churned. Why? Silence. His gaze dropped, avoiding mine. My body moved before my brain caught up. My fist connected with his jaw, sending him stumbling back onto the couch. He groaned, clutching his face. Jesus, Eric. I towered over him, chest heaving. You were my best friend, Jason. He sat up slowly, blood trickling from the corner of his mouth. I never meant for this to happen. Bullshit. He winced. She came to me. Said you two were done. You didn't even hesitate, did you? My voice was sharp, venomous. He sighed, defeated. I screwed up. I laughed bitterly. That's an understatement. His phone buzzed on the table. I glanced at the screen. Olivia. A bitter chuckle escaped my lips. She's on her way, isn't she? Jason said nothing. I turned toward the door, the weight of everything pressing down on me. Eric. I stopped, but I didn't look back. Don't do something you'll regret. His voice was cautious, pleading. I exhaled, gripping the doorknob. I already did. Then, without another word, I walked out, slamming the door behind me. I drove aimlessly, my grip white-knuckled around the steering wheel, my mind cycling through every moment I had shared with Olivia and Jason. The laughter, the trust, the blind faith. I had been a fool. A blind, pathetic fool. Anger wasn't enough. Revenge wasn't enough. I wanted them to feel what I felt. I wanted their world to crumble, just as mine had. The car's GPS flickered as I punched in the address to a hotel downtown. Not just any hotel, their hotel. The one Olivia had booked for their secret nights together. I knew because I had checked our shared credit card statements, finding the charges she had never bothered to hide. She didn't think I would look. She thought I was too weak, too devoted. She was wrong. I pulled into the parking lot, heart pounding. The neon glow of the hotel sign bathed my car in red, like a warning. Or maybe a promise. Inside, the lobby smelled like fresh linen and expensive perfume. A bored receptionist barely glanced up as I approached. Checking in? She asked, flipping through a reservation book. Actually, I'm meeting someone. I forced a polite smile. Olivia Walker. She should have booked a room already. The receptionist nodded, scanning her screen. Room 812. I swallowed back my disgust. She didn't even try to be discreet. Thanks, I muttered, turning toward the elevators. The ride up was suffocating. The air thick with anticipation. Every muscle in my body screamed for action, for release, for justice. The elevator dinged. I stepped out, the hallway stretching endlessly before me. Plush carpeting muted my footsteps as I moved toward their door. My breath was steady. My pulse was not. I knocked. Silence. Then, soft footsteps. The door cracked open. Olivia stood there, wrapped in nothing but a silk robe, her eyes widening in shock as she met my gaze. Eric! For a split second, panic flickered in her expression, but she masked it quickly. What are you doing here? I leaned against the doorframe, arms crossed. I could ask you the same thing. She swallowed, glancing over her shoulder. This isn't what you think. Cut the bullshit, Olivia. My voice was eerily calm. She exhaled sharply, then had the audacity to smirk. So, you followed me? More like connected the dots. Her smirk faltered. Look, Eric, I told you. I'm not going to apologize for what I want. Neither am I. She frowned. What's that supposed to mean? I reached into my pocket, pulling out my phone. With one tap, I opened the voice recording I had started in the lobby. Her voice played back, clear as day. So, you followed me? Look, Eric, I told you. I'm not going to apologize for what I want. Her eyes widened. You recorded me? I tucked the phone away. Evidence. Her expression darkened. For what? I smiled coldly. Divorce. The color drained from her face. You wouldn't. I already did. I turned my back on her, walking away as she called my name, voice shrill with panic. She had played her game. Now it was my turn. The apartment felt different when I stepped inside, colder, emptier. Maybe it was the knowledge that everything I once believed in had been a lie. Maybe it was the weight of knowing I was done with Olivia. Truly, finally done. I dropped my keys onto the counter, exhaling slowly. The divorce papers sat on the coffee table, waiting. I had wasted no time, meeting with a lawyer the morning after I left that hotel. Olivia had made her choice. Now, she would live with the consequences. The front door slammed open behind me. "Eric!" Olivia's voice was sharp, desperate. I didn't turn around. "You still have a key." "Not for much longer." Her heels clicked against the hardwood as she rushed toward me. "We need to talk." I poured myself a drink. "We really don't." She reached for my arm, but I pulled away. "Eric, don't do this." I laughed, bitter and hollow. "Don't do what, Olivia?" "Leave. Move on." "Isn't that what you wanted?" Her lips parted, but no words came out. I turned to face her, taking in the panic in her eyes, the way her hands trembled. "What happened? Jason get bored already?" Her jaw tightened. "This isn't about him." "Funny," I said, sipping my drink. "It was when you wanted it to be." Tears welled in her eyes. "I made a mistake." I shook my head. "No. A mistake is forgetting an anniversary. A mistake is saying something cruel in the heat of an argument." I leaned in, voice cold. "What you did was a choice." She flinched. I walked past her, grabbing the divorce papers and thrusting them into her hands. "Sign them." She stared at the papers like they were a death sentence. "We can fix this." I laughed, genuine this time. "Fix what?" "You said you'd sleep with other people whether I liked it or not." She swallowed hard. "You thought I'd just take it? Let you have your fun while I sat at home like a fool?" Tears spilled down her cheeks. "I didn't think I'd lose you." I exhaled, the last of my anger fading into something worse, indifference. "You lost me the moment you chose him." She choked back a sob. "Eric, please." I stepped around her, opening the front door. "Leave your key when you go." She didn't move at first. Then, slowly, she placed the key on the table beside the divorce papers. Her eyes met mine one last time, filled with regret, with loss. But I felt nothing. The door closed behind her, sealing away the past. And for the first time in a long time, I felt free.